right, a very good evening to you. Welcome to Kivumbi2017, where we look at what has been happening politically in the country. We have 4 days to go before Kenyans decide who exactly is going to be the next president of the Republic of Kenya, as well as several other elective seats. In studio, we have Ambrose Weda, who's a lawyer, very familiar face on this show. Next to him, we have Odoyo Widi, who's a political analyst. And we also have Dismas Mokua, who's a political risk analyst. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Kivumbi2017.
Thank you.
So I need us to have a conversation about sentiments that were made by President Uhuru Kenyatta while he was in Makueni. And that touched a little bit on the chiefs. So can we listen to that and then we have a conversation about it?
Hapa naona nyuso zao kwa sababu wote ni wakodi hao. Unajua. Naona wale katika kazi na wale wengine. Wajue pikipiki zile wanatumia, allowances ambazo wanapata, wajue ni serikali ya Jubilee wenzenu walikuwa wanawafukuza. Tutaonana na nyinyi baada ya uchaguzi, nyinyi tutasema. Tunaelewana wazee? Tutakuwa na nyinyi. Usione sisi hatujui nini inaendelea dunia hii.
President Uhuru Kenyatta there while he was in Makueni, basically telling the chief the allowances you're drawing and the motorcycles you ride are property of Jubilee. It is a threat of some sort, Dismas. What are your thoughts?
Well, obviously, those are threats. You know, the president does not speak in vain. But I think the big picture that the president was speaking on was Chapter 6 and the Leadership and the Integrity Act. And for the longest time possible in this campaign, NASA has been complaining that a number of public servants, as well as parastatal heads and managing directors, have been very active in the campaign. And the Leadership and the Integrity Act actually allows the cabinet secretaries, as well as the county ministers, to engage in political affairs. That's why you are able to see Dr. Matiang'i, Mwangi Kiunjuri, Amin Abdallah, all over campaigning for Jubilee, which is a piece of legislation which was actually watered down by the members of the National Assembly. Because in mature democracies where people respect the bureaucracy, you don't have public servants openly identifying with their political parties unless they are carefully selected political appointees. And NASA has been complaining that you have these top public servants openly engaging in political activities, doing fundraisings, or going for political rallies, and they're actually branded. So what happened yesterday in Makueni, the president was actually getting back. He was getting a test of his own medicine because he said now you have the chiefs who he said are aligned to NASA.
To opposition.
Yeah, and there's and I know the lawyers would say there's no evidence to confirm whether or not they're aligned to Jubilee or whether they're aligned to NASA. But because of the kind of reception he got, because we understand that he got a very hostile reception, and he said, I mean, these are supposed to be my officers. They're part of this crowd. And people are heckling me, and their hands are right in their pockets. They're seated on their pockets. Yeah. So what are they supposed to be doing? And so by him telling the provincial administration, restructured or otherwise, that after the elections I'm coming back, I doubt whether he's suggesting that if he retains his position as the president, he'll go back and have a cup of tea. He's not going for a cup of tea. That can only be interpreted to mean that there's going to be disciplinary action taken against them. Now, that's a double-edged sword. Because those chiefs now have got the fear of the good Lord in their system. They're going the extra mile to campaign for NASA to ensure that at least a friendly person becomes the president, so that if it's Kalonzo going back, it's probably going to promote them. But again, in that conversation, it raises a bigger picture. That as a head of state, whether you are the leader for Jubilee or NASA, you are still the president of the Republic of Kenya. You are a symbol of national unity. When you are visiting any part of Kenya, you are campaigning, you are supposed to, you occupy a very serious pedestal. You are supposed to play in a superior league. You cannot play in the league where Raila Odinga is playing, because you are the symbol of national unity. And you recall, when President Kenyatta was in Turkana, the people who were in that meeting said he lost his cool. He was boiling over with fury. He even said, even if you don't vote for me, I'm still going to become president.
He actually said something similar, which I'll play for you. Widi, what are your thoughts?
I think we need to look at the genesis of newly found method of dealing with institutions in Kenya by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. It began the day the court ruled that the votes counted at the polling centers and constituencies will be final. Then the next thing I saw is an enraged president point fingers at the judiciary and IEBC.
So you think the president
since that day, there has never been a favorable ruling to NASA. Then we came to now the chiefs. Remember, I remember that was the IEBC and then the judiciary, now the chiefs that now represent the civil servants. And it worked for him that time. And I think he thought, now let me go back to Kambani. That is the only place where I can intimidate the chiefs to do the bidding of Jubilee, to have the chiefs campaign for Jubilee like his ministers are doing. So I think it's just a new pattern he's using when his old one failed.
So we have an angry president.
I don't know whether he's seeing ghosts from the president.
What ghosts?
Here, the president was trying to remind the chiefs that the enemy of the provincial administration over the years on record has been Honorable Raila Odinga.
Whether that sounded like a threat, not reminding people.
I'm coming to it.
Okay.
As a lawyer, you will develop a case.
Oh, develop your case then.
Yes, he was telling them, this guy wanted you, all of you out. In fact, that's why most of them did not vote for Raila in 2013. Okay? But he went to Makueni as a president. He was not a civilian like Honorable Kalonzo or the others. He was a president. And therefore, a chief, a sub-chief, a DO are actually government. So whatever your inclination, official duty requires that you behave in a given way, even if you will vote differently. You may vote for NASA, but when the boss comes, you must recognize. But some of them, I think, after taking or smoking something, they enter into the dancing syndrome that you see among the NASA leaders. And therefore, they behaved in a way that did not show that they recognize that this president is there. So I do not think that the president was threatening them. The president was simply telling them, he was simply telling them, stop behaving like this. But if you continue and I come back, definitely, you know that's an offense.
What are these sounds like a threat? I mean, someone who tells you the allowances you're throwing at the motorcycles you ride, the properties of Jubilee, not
Jubilee, Jubilee government.
Okay, Jubilee government.
Before, in the joint coalition government, the one where Honorable Kibaki and Honorable Raila were leading, the chiefs were hungry. They were never given anything. They were left to suffer. In fact, Raila was every day saying, scrap this thing. And Kibaki was going under the table to keep them. Now, when this Uhuru Ruto government came, then they were empowered.
Linda,
they were retrained.
Okay.
I think we can't let Ambrose continue.
Given
okay,
no.
I'm going to give you a time. Okay.
I don't think...
You get it, please, listen. So that is why the president is saying, in this my 4-year regime, you have been empowered. And now you are using the empowerment just to show me that I'm a nobody. So when I come back to power, I'll deal with you.
No, I think there is no day anywhere in time when Raila Odinga was the prime minister that he said the chiefs should go. I think you are putting mouths into his words, if not words into his mouth. But remember, it's only President Uhuru Kenyatta who has had an altercation with about 4 governors, the judiciary, IEBC, and now as low as chiefs. That is the height of it. And you see, enragement, anger is temporary insanity. He's forgotten that he's president. He's going down to Makueni to 310 people as small as chiefs. After the chiefs,
the village elders small.
They are small people.
Do you know
compared to the president, they are very small people. In fact, he should even
now
ignore
the way these NASA people talk. They call people small. They call people this. The president values Kenyans at equal place.
I think the germane issue is are public servants allowed to participate in politics, actively campaigning for a candidate, whether the candidate is incumbent or otherwise? I think that's the germane issue. I think the question
is Uhuru justified in being upset with the chiefs for allegedly campaigning?
We shouldn't tiptoe around this important issue. Maybe if you look at other mature democracies, they would assist us understand this. When Cameron is campaigning in the UK, maybe pro-Brexit or anti-Brexit, he doesn't do campaigns with the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy will let him go do his campaign. The same situation obtains in Japan, in Italy. Wherever those prime ministers or presidents are doing their campaigns, they don't drag along the entire bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is supposed to be the engine of government. You leave them to work at that place. So if you've gone to Makueni and you're campaigning and the audience has got a hostile reception, maybe it's because of the way you delivered your message. They don't appreciate the message. Maybe they feel you're stepping on their toes. And the chiefs, I mean, what would you expect the chiefs to do? If people have started heckling you, the chiefs, I don't know how many there are, they wouldn't start rounding up everybody. Or maybe did he mean that he wanted the chiefs to prepare those people that are our boss is coming from Nairobi. If he says anything you find unacceptable, you remain mute. If he says something that you like, clap for him. I don't know what the chiefs are supposed to be doing. But when the head of state says, after this election, I'm coming back, he's not coming back to have a cup of tea with you. You know, it's the same thing we are told, that if you're a suspect in, say, a murder, when the policemen invite you to the police station to assist in investigation or interrogation, you're not going to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee as you give them information. Chances are that you'll find yourself in a terrible, hostile corner. Okay. But I think what we must do, what President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga need to do in this election, which is coming to an end, maybe the train has already left the station, is that for the 2022 election, there must be serious consequences and penalties for a public officer who actively participates in politics. Yeah, and the only time the president is becoming nervous, because all along, the bureaucracy has been working in his favor. So he probably expected the same was going to be the case in Makueni. But when he got there, it was an entirely different ballgame.
Listen, I want us to listen to whether is there something you want to say?
Yes. What is this big hostile reception that these people are peddling around? If you see that clip, the president had a crowd and he was talking to them and they were in red and they were answering him. He was simply complaining that my chiefs, the ones that Honorable Raila did not want to continue in office, I have given the motorbikes and they're earning allowance. They're using those allowances.
To be fair, he had quite a hostile
and
reception.
And I will come and deal with you. It is not that there was hostile reception.
Okay.
Please, let us not mega things.
I need to assist you. President Uhuru Kenyatta did not give the chiefs the motorcycles. It was the government of the Republic of Kenya. And let me tell you, what President Uhuru Kenyatta was doing was using a coded language to warn the chiefs, either you are with us or you are jobless when I return.
We need to listen to something else that the president had to say today with respect to NASA flag bearer Raila Odinga. Could you play that?
Akiingia kwa chaguzi ameibiwa. Mara 4 atuambia ameibiwa. Sasa wewe hata kama umeibiwa mara 4, shida ni nani? Ni wewe au ni yule? Kama umeibiwa si uibe.
Hey, okay. The gloves are off. Come on, baby.
Tell me where that was.
Okay, allow me to have that conversation. The statements by President Kenyatta are actually shocking to a nation of which is supposed to be governed by the rule of law and order. Essentially, what he's saying is that the IBC, which has been reformed, the entire nation has been wasting time. But when we go for the elections, it's going to be about who is a clever thief. And in the old Chinese society, they used to train clever thieves. So when he's saying that if you've been complaining after every election that somebody is stealing your vote, why can't you be a sophisticated thief so that you've got a superior game on how to steal that election? And we know for a fact that those kind of statements, they can easily bring tensions within the nation because people have been crying. I mean, the same NASA leadership spent hours on end in the streets, lying prostrate on a hot tarmac, wanting IBC to go home. IBC has gone home. There's been minimal reforms, which people say gives us a reasonable chance of having free, fair, and credible election. So those are the kind of statements that we do not need today. Okay. Instead, what we should have told Raila Odinga is for him to understand what Kenyans are looking for and give them that message of hope. Even if it's giving them erroneous promises, like he's going to get another SGR maybe to Bondo, so that people vote in a manner which... Because right now, people are a bit uncomfortable. And those kind of statements are most unwelcome.
You see, these people... fear...
Which people were there?
Even my brother here. They fear President Uhuru and Jubilee so much that they have alluded everything big to Jubilee. They have a lot of money. They are going to steal. They are going to beat people. How can you defeat somebody you fear so much? What the president was saying is this.
What?
He was saying, each time there's an election, Honorable Raila Odinga complains that he has been rigged. In other words, he is complaining too much. And he's telling, how comes it is you? Each time complaining. Even if you think other people...
But don't you agree with what Dismas says? It's in bad taste.
No.
It's not.
Where we are now is 4 days. The gloves are off.
So 4 days means what? You can say anything and everything you want to say.
In fact, now there's no joke. The remaining few days, hakuna kucheza. Even if you listen to what Honorable Raila said in Kisumu, even the way they were dancing, the dancing is now more vigorous, and they are going chini kwa chini. So, do not take President Uhuru's statements out of context. Take it within the context.
No, we're not taking it out of context.
Take it within the Kivumbi context. There's
Kivumbi context.
And they are saying, you know somebody, you know now it is like if you take Honorable Raila and Honorable Uhuru, both of them, they're in a place where one of them will drown.
Okay.
And any drowning person will say anything. So you will see Raila saying anything, President Uhuru saying anything. So let us not scrutinize with a monocle when it comes to Uhuru. It is true that Honorable Raila has always said he's been rigged.
Yeah.
Okay? So this even there are times I supported him in the 97. He said he was rigged out, but we were together and we lost. So these are the riggings that the president is saying. Please stop it. Let's just go into it. He's the one who fought IBC. He threw them out.
I need to take a break. I need to give Owidi the final say in this before we take a break.
I'm very worried about what President Uhuru is trying to sell across. Because if you look at the history of Raila Odinga, it is his cleanliness that has made him a victim of rigors of elections. Because, you see, Raila Odinga goes into government with the one message: I am going to clean the government of Kenya now and forevermore.
Okay.
And the robbers of the people of Kenya cannot accept this. And their friends and their business partners, they cannot accept this. And this is why they all gang up to rob Raila Odinga of victory. Because they don't want a clean Kenya. They want a Kenya where you build a standard gauge railway at 300 billion that will take 300 years to repay.
Your sentiments on
the
president...
They need a Kenya where all projects are informed by the corruption cartels. In fact, Jubilee's manifesto was written by corruption cartels intending to use...
Those are your words, Kevin.
They are my words, of course, but I know. See, I only speak the things I know and believe in.
That is why.
That is why.
Do you think?
Telling Honorable Raila, do you think this complaint every year? Wachana naye kama umeshindwa, leave it and go.
Linda, do you think the SGR was built because of any economic things? If that railway line brings 3 million a day, that means at the end of the year we'll have 1 billion. To pay 327 billion, we will need 327 years. The railway will be long time obsolete.
That's very simple.
And we have not even done the operation cost.
I need to take a break, Kevin.
That's village
so it was informed by corruption cartels who wanted a piece of the 327 billion.
We're not even playing them on air. They're coming up next. You're watching Kivumbi2017. Thank you for staying with us. We're looking at the political campaign and what has been happening since yesterday and today. Allow me to take a short break. We'll be back with this conversation.